Hello everyone, this is Debbie from Ink and Page, and I'm here today with a brand new Junk Journal July video. This is for day 16, which is script, and today we're going to be doing a two-part project. So, part of it we're going to do today, and part of it we're going to do tomorrow for our envelope prompt. So today we're going to be making the ephemera, and then tomorrow we'll have the envelopes. So, with that said, if you would like to get the printables that I'm about to use in this video, you can just go down in the description, click the link, sign up there, and then I'll send you everything that's been released, and you'll also get future releases as well. Okay, so what are we doing today? We are going to make a masterboard, but we're going to do it two different ways. Okay, so I want to do like masterboard easy mode, and then masterboard a little bit more creative, right? So the first thing I wanted to do was I'm using this paper, which is in the kit. It's the script paper. I'm going to use this for both of them. One of the things is you'll frequently get a paper like this or something similar to this. Any paper can be a masterboard. So there's nothing special or unique or anything. You can use any paper you want for a masterboard. What you're doing is basically just creating a background and then cutting it up into ephemera. I know a lot of you guys probably know how to make masterboards, but for anybody who is new to junk journaling, and I know I have a lot of you out there who are just getting started making their first journals, this is like the easiest possible way that you could make a masterboard. Okay, so let's say you have a digital kit. Pick one of the background papers that is in there, and you can use that. And today we're going to be using this background paper because it's, you know, it's on theme. Okay, but I could have picked any of the papers in the kit. This is a great paper because it's diverse. Okay, it's got a lot of different stuff going on it already. There's another paper in the kit that's even more diverse. Okay, it's got even more going on it. But, you know, this is fine for today. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to say this is my masterboard. It is completely done. This is what I'm going to use. I'm not going to do anything else to it. All I'm going to do is cut it up. So you just have to decide what you want to get out of it, or you can just cut it up and then decide what you want to use each piece for. Okay, so like I like a tag to be like around 2.5 to 3.5 inches wide. Okay, so it just depends on your preference. I'm going to cut myself at 2.5 here for this one. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut, oops, I didn't do a good job on that with the paper cutter. And then once I have that done, okay, so I'm going to go about halfway on this here so I can make two tags that are about the same size. So this is going to be like 8.5. So I'm going to go to 4.25. All right, and then I've got these here, okay, and just let's cut the rest of this up and then we'll go through that. You're actually going to get quite a bit of ephemera out of this, and this is a good way to get a coordinating ephemera that isn't like taking you hours to make, right? So now let's say we're going to do a journal card. Okay, we're going to do a couple journal cards. So I'm going to go 4 inches on the journal cards. You could go 5, you could go 3. It just really depends on what you want to do. So then what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to go 4x3 for the journal cards. And you do not, I mean, these are not set in stone measurements. This is just like me going along. I'm just cutting these up to what I think would be good sizes. This one's going to be a tiny bit smaller, but no big deal on that one. Because these like already have such good patterns on them, you know, like they're good backgrounds already. Okay, so let's see. What I want to do is get a belly band off of this on the end. So I'm going to do that at 1 inch. And then what I'll have left is this piece, and I'm going to go ahead and make tags out of those. Okay, so there's my belly band, because I want to have one of those. And then I'm going to cut this in half and make some fat tags. So that's going to be at 4.25 there. I'm going to cut that in half. Okay. And then all we need to do here is decide what we want to do with these in terms of like what we want them to look like, because these could still be journal cards because they're still cut in a way that doesn't make them necessarily tags, right? So the way that I planned this out was I've got 2 journal cards, or 3 journal cards, sorry, 2 that are the same size, one's a little smaller, 2 fat tags and 2 skinnier tags, okay? And then what I'm gonna do is I have these punches, and if you don't have them, don't worry. You know, you can do your corners in a lot of different ways. You don't need to do anything to them. These are very handy to have, is all I'll say, okay? These will let you quickly cut the corners off of the tag. So like, let's say I'm going to do this one here. I'm just going to put it in there and I'm going to get that off. Okay, so let's say you don't have this, okay? Pretend I cut this off with scissors, right? You just take this piece and just put it over here on this side, and then you just cut it right there, and it will be the same as this side. So even if you don't have this, like corner chomper here, you don't have to worry. You can just, this is just a little bit faster, I think. Maybe it's not, I don't know. But it just makes it a little bit easier and, you know, on you. And so if you don't have it, don't worry. You can still chomp your corners. You can also get a tag that you already have and use that as a template. Like I have this one here. I could use this at the top. If I wanted to have like a curved top, I could just trace that on there and I could just cut it out with my scissors. Okay, so all right, I want to do tags on these 2 as well. And then these are my nice fat ones. And then I have these, which are the journal cards. Now, so you could do a variety of corners on those. It's this one here has a bunch of different corners. I like this one. That's like your ticket corner. So you can notch out all 4 corners on here and have kind of like a little ticket corner action on that if you wanted to. You could round them. I am not a huge fan of rounding corners. I like pointy corners. Okay, I like to chomp all 4 corners off of a journal card as well. I just like the way this looks. I think it looks nice. It looks kind of like it's kind of like a label-y type of a situation, right? And then I have this one here, and let's do a different corner on that one. Let's try this one here. I don't use this one very often, I have to admit, but it's cute. I prefer like a pretty simple corner. I like a square corner. Rounding your corners can frequently help you get ephemera into pockets if you need to. If you're having problems getting them in. Okay. All right. So I made all short tags on this one. On the other Masterboard, I'll make taller tags. Okay. So you can just see like the different options that you can get by cutting your paper up different ways. Okay. So basically what I want to do here is do a little bit of inking on these and then just show you like, you know, your potential here, because right now it just looks like cut up paper, right? So now we need to make them actually look like ephemera, and we want to do that, you know, without using too many supplies, without having to have like a whole like bunch of washi tape or stamps or anything like that. We've just got our paper cutter, we've got some ink, and we've got our paper. So basically what I think, your next step after this is going to be is we'll put some holes in the top. Okay, and we can put eyelets in some of them. If you don't have an eyelet setter, it doesn't matter. You can still put holes in them. And you just need something to poke the holes in them with. So that could be a hole punch, that could be an awl, that could be a variety of different things. It just depends on what you have access to. And any ink that's brown will work. It doesn't have to be Distress ink. It could be any brown ink. I like brown, or actually you might like black because this has black printing on it. I just like want to give you guys as many options as I can possibly think of in terms of like making ephemera and making it easy to make ephemera and making the whole process accessible. So there's like, you know, you don't have to have any secret knowledge for this. Okay. And then, like I said, tomorrow the prompt is envelope. And what I will do is we'll use some of this ephemera in envelopes, and we'll also use envelopes to make pockets in our journal. So basically today we'll make the ephemera and tomorrow we'll make the pockets, and then we'll put everything in the pockets in the journal tomorrow. And this could cover more than one spread, you know, because I'm going to have plenty of ephemera because I'm going to do 2 masterboards. So I'll have bunches of stuff. But, you know, if this is a manageable amount, you know, for just, you know, you could do like a double spread or whatever, and you could do the belly band with the envelope behind it with tags in it or whatever. But okay, let's just quickly put some holes in these and take a look at how they look when they're done. I'm going to go ahead and use my crocodile to punch the holes in the top of mine, of my tags. And then, let's see, which one do I want? I want this one. But like I said, you could use anything, like whatever you have. A pokey tool, you could use a regular hole punch. Like if you have one of those slotted punches, those are pretty cool too. I did get a punch the other day that cuts like all the corners and then cuts 2 different types of holes. I'll have to show it to you guys. It's pretty cool. I also have this. I was thinking about doing a video, and you guys let me know what you think about this, about like some like accessibility in crafting like this, like the glue press. I have another tool that you can use to press the punches if you don't have like good hand strength, or like the punches, they just make me crazy. But like I said, my thumbs hurt a lot, so I have a bunch of different things that I use to, you know, mitigate my thumb pain. So I thought that might possibly be a good video topic, but I wasn't sure what the level of interest would be in that sort of thing. Okay, so I'm going to put an eyelet in a couple of these, and I won't in some of the other ones. So I'm going to put an eyelet in these fat guys, because I think they can handle, sometimes an eyelet is a lot for a tag, so, you know, you have to kind of gauge, it, you know, is your tag like a delicate thing? And also these eyelets have like a pretty solid ring around them, so, you know, there's more delicate eyelets out there. Let's put it like that. Okay, there's that. Okay. Now I'm going to squish this one. There's that one. Okay, so let's put some different types of ribbon and string through these eyelets. Okay, so if you have a plain tag like this and you want to make it look a little bit more fancier, one of the things you can do is use 2 different types of like fiber or string or ribbon or whatever you have to go through it, and it will just make the tag top look a little bit more festive, so to speak. I'm going to pull this through here. My fat tag might actually need a little bit more than what I have here because it's so chubby, but also like what I could do, this, you know, you can continue to decorate this tag because you could always put some kind of lace across the bottom of it, or you could put, just depending on what you have available to you and what the colors are in your journal. Like if you want to jazz this up a little bit, you could add a little pocket. You could use a paper scrap on here to add a pocket to the bottom. I'm probably going to be putting pockets on the bottom of these little tags because they're so chubby that like they can totally handle having a tag, or they could have a tuck spot, you know, on the side, which is nice on a tag. That you can just tuck maybe a smaller tag in there or whatever you like. All right, so let me grab a couple other pieces of trim here and we'll just put them through. Okay, I love stuff like this. This is like just some linen that's torn, and that makes a great tag top. These like, I have these like the self-backing eyelets. They're not the greatest because they don't give you the best back. But like, I like having like this with the like frayed edges. I think that looks great. It especially complements the style of these kind of neutral tags, you know? And then like, see, we have like the smaller, oops. These smaller holes, so we can just use some ribbon in those. And then you can trim that to size. I also have some pink ribbon, so if you want to like you have neutral ephemera and you want to style it to your journal, and say your journal has pink on it, well, now this has a little bit of pink on it, and you know, you can add whatever else you want to it. I'm just gonna trim this because that's a little bit long. This one's a little bit long too. Okay, and I'll find use for those in a thing. And then if you're afraid your tag is gonna come apart, you can just add a little glue to it at the top. And I'm not going to glue this one yet because like another thing that you can do to this is you could add, if you wanted to, you could add a little charm to it in the knot thingy. So let me grab my little charm box here. Okay, so I got this little tree of life one. And if I wanted to, I could put the ribbon through my little hole there. You could put one or both ends through. Let me see if I can get the second end through, because then I can have this hanging from the top of the tag. There we go. And now I have like a little charm dangling from the top of my tag. Okay, and that was not a super difficult addition to this. I'm going to put a little dab of glue on the back here because this ribbon, I don't trust it. Like twine and string are a lot more trustworthy. But like these are just like simple ways to start your, like, you know, now you have some basic ephemera done. And now you can continue to add to it. You can leave it like this if you wanted to. You could put pieces of this together. Like you could use the belly band to hold the tags, or you could use the smaller tags with the bigger tags. You could trim this and make it into a pocket if you wanted to. But like I used a cording paper on the back. But you know, now you have little journal cards, and you could put lines on the back of this if you wanted, or you could have printed a lined paper on the back. You could, you know, now you could do a little bit of extra embellishing, add some like whatever scraps that you have in your stash to these, and you will have coordinated ephemera that only took you you know, a few minutes to make. And what I would do with these too is you could glue lined paper to the front of them as well, because that just adds a layer and then it gives a space for writing as well. So that's our simple version of this whole process. So let's do one that's just a little bit more complicated. And then one other thing before I like move on with this, because there's no color on it, you could go ahead and customize this for any journal. So if you wanted to build your stash, say, this would be a great stash builder project because it's neutral. There's not really anything on it that says one theme or another. But once you start adding stuff to it, like colored lace, or you could stamp on it, or you could include different pieces of ephemera that are like, you know, particular to your theme. You could add a wax seal to it that's particular to the color scheme for your project. I was also thinking, you know, if your project has ephemera that comes with it, or like, let's say you're doing like, you know, a digital kit and you will need some extra ephemera. Well, you could just add the ephemera to these pieces and then it will coordinate with the rest of your project. Okay, so that's that one. Let's do this one, which is going to be a little bit more complicated in terms of like supplies. So for this one, I thought it would be fun if we both did, we'll add some stamping, we'll add some washi tape, and we will add some stenciling. You could use texture paste. I'm going to use paint tonight because the dry factor. I would have had to do it ahead of time, and I didn't really want to do it ahead of time. So I wanted to do the whole thing, you know, here at once. So using the paint just allows me to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start adding the washi tape to the paper, and then I'm just going to do it in a random fashion. I'm going to add different ones and just like kind of go through here and just put some little decorations on it. Then we'll cut it up and see what we get. I have a stamp in particular, like I already got it out. And I have a couple other ones here as well that I thought would be okay for this. I wasn't exactly sure what color ink to use on this because I think like my go-to vintage photo is going to be too light for this. So I'm going to try Scorched Timber. Okay, so let's see. What other tape do I want to use on this? I picked mostly neutral washi tape because I wasn't sure what I'm going to do with these in the end. Like tomorrow, I'm not sure like exactly where things are going. So I can add any color to them at that time. So I'll make just a largely neutral one today. Oh, okay, so I have this here. This is like this has like labels on it, and I actually think it's kind of cool. Because depending on how it shakes out on the ephemera, I could always put something on the label, you know? Like, you could do this willy-nilly if you want. The way that I am doing it right now, though, is I am lining stuff up a little bit. But that's just because this particular paper has, like, a lot of, like, lines in it, you know? So you could go, you know, you could run your tape diagonally if you want to. But because this already has a bunch of, like, actual lines in it, like my brain is like, oh, we need to do that. So I'm going to use this one here, my clear favorite of the washi tapes, to do something on the edge here. And then I have this really bold number one, which I'm going to put a little bit of this on here too, because, you know, it's fun to have kind of a outlier on there. Let's see, where do I want to put it though? I still want to leave some room for my stamping. And then I'll probably do the, paint last, and then we can cut this guy up and see what we get out of this one. I'm going to put a little bit down here, I think. And then maybe just a little bit in this corner. Oops, that's upside down. Although this does have like numbers going every which way on it. I just want to go a little bit on this corner. Okay, I want to add a little bit more of this. All right, maybe some of the music washi tape. In this corner here. Instead of washi tape, you could use collage paper. There's a lot of options, you know, in terms of what you can use to put on the background here. Okay, so I got this stamp out here. This is from, okay, so this is all in Create washi tape. This is Tim Holtz. This is Tim Holtz. This is 49 in Market. This is 49 in Market. I wish I knew where I got this one from. I have zero idea. So if you recognize it, will you tell me? Because it literally showed up on my desk. It might be all in Create. So I'm not sure. And this is going to be a Allison Mauber stamp from Paper Artsy that I'm going to use because I just wanted a floral. And that one was in here. And I love her stamps. So I'm going to try this with Scorched Timber here. See how we do. Because it did not look good on I tried Vintage Photo before. Like I did like a sample one of these ahead of time. And so I have the ephemera for that too. So I'm going to have like 3 Masterboards worth of stuff to use. I think that's better than the Vintage Photo. It could be a little bit darker. I don't know if I should have gone with the black. for that or not. But I do like it. So at least there's that. And then I also have a doily stamp here. Okay, so I think I want to go over here with that, and I just need a piece of paper to stick underneath my thing so I don't stamp my table. So put this here, ink this guy up. Do you think it would be too much if I go over here too? I think that would be okay. I really love this stamp. This one's a Tim Holtz. And I am liking the scorched timber. I think it looks pretty good on here. Is that good? This is like, I don't know what this is called. It's like for printing, I think. But it's also very helpful if you have any sort of hand paint, like for pressing down on stamps. So that came off pretty nicely. Okay, so let's see. I want to add one more. Put this one back. So I wanted to add this 15, and then I'll stop. Like once I get started stamping, I like to just keep going. Okay, ink pad. Ooh, should I go down here instead? Should I go up here? Okay, let's go here. This is distress ink. It's not archival, so there we go. This stamp always stamps beautifully. Okay, so I think that is decent for stamping. I don't think I'm going to add any more because I'm also going to do the stencil. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. So this is, this requires a few more things and a little bit more time. But you could also do both styles, of Masterboard. One that's very simple, that just uses the paper, that doesn't have, a lot of embellishment. And then do a more complicated one. So you have some standout ephemera pieces, and then you have some that are more background pieces. And every journal needs every kind of ephemera, right? So, okay, so I'm going to start with this one. I love this one so much. Okay. I wish I could get this one in like a full page, you know what I mean? All right, so let's see. Okay, there's my sponge. I'm not sure which way I like it better. Okay, so this is going to be pretty chill because of I'm using the white, but I think it's going to be enough to just add a little bit of texture on there when it's cut up. I'm going to let that dry and see what it looks like. Okay, so let's go here. Do it again. It does, when it dries, it does darken up slightly, so it could be fine. Oops. One of the things I am trying to do is intersect the different types of like media I have on here. So intersect with the washi tape, with the paint, with the stamps, just to bring it all together. See how that looks. It does darken up because like it already seems darker to me on there. So I think I might leave this with this color. I didn't know how I was going to have to get a darker color paint. But I think once it dries, it should be okay. I don't think I'm going to put, well, I'm not sure if I should add more or not. Like if I knew for sure, like I would put color on this, like I would use blue or something, but I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this yet. So I'm just going to use it tomorrow somehow with the pockets. So I could also go over this with ink if I wanted to. Okay, let me just dry that really quickly and then we'll go to the next step. Okay, so if you really wanted to, you could go to town on this with like lace and gluing other pieces of ephemera on here. I am using my paper trimmer though, and I'm pretty certain it will not cut lace. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that for the like post-cutting stage. But if you have like a guillotine style paper cutter, it might handle this much better. But I can't, I have the media, like the heavy media cutter one from Tim Holtz, but like I can't just drag that over here. So I'm just gonna cut it up on this and then add my lace and stuff afterwards. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm wondering, I can see it just fine. Hopefully the camera's picking it up okay. All right, let's do some tall tags. But it does get, it got darker after I dried it, so. All right, should we do 3 inches? 3.5 inches? No, that's too big. 2.5? Let's go 3 inches on this one. Just make sure I got that. Okay, so now what I'll do with this one, I think, and you can cut this up upside down so you don't know what you're gonna get, because like that could be kind of fun in terms of like a surprise. So I'm gonna go 5.5 on the length, and then we'll have this, which I'll make into a journal card. Okay, so I'm gonna do the same thing. What did I say on this? Was it 3? I think it was 3. Yeah, okay, it was 3. All right, so let me do 3 again. I'm sorry if this paper cutter's a little out of the frame. I got a lot of stuff up here now. I spilled all my washi tape. All I can keep thinking is if my mom saw my desk right now, she would have a heart attack. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this one. Let's do this. Should we try 4 for this one? 4.5. Or should I do 5? Or did I do 5.5? I have no memory apparently. Okay, so just depending on what you want, you can pick the size. I'll go 1/2 inch shorter here so that we have just a little bit of size differentiation. Okay, so I'm going to take 1 inch off of here. Actually, I'm going to take 1.5 inches off of here because I want to have a belly band here. I'm going to make it slightly wider than my other one, I think. So this one will be 1.5 inches, just so there's some variety. And then I have this, so let's cut this up into cards. Let's see, if we do... I kind of like the shape of the 2.5. Like that. I think that's a good size there. Okay, now this one, I think I am going to just cut it in half and make 2 mini tags. So let's see, this is about, let's see, oh, of course it's like some crazy measurement. I'm just gonna guesstimate here. Okay, so now I have 2 mini tags. I have my journal cards here. I have this journal card here, my belly band. This could be a journal card or a tag, and then I have my 2 different size tags here. So let's go ahead and shape these guys up a little bit. And I can just do that really quickly since I talked through it last time. Okay, I personally think it is wild how awesome these come out, given that, you know, when you're doing it, you don't really have like a specific, like, oh, it's gonna, you know, it's gonna, the layout is gonna be like this, right? So you don't actually know how it's gonna look. And I just can't believe, like, the placement of this moth right here, this doily. I mean, everything is, this even ended up like right in the perfect spot, you know? And like, it looks to me like this came out of something that was much more complex than it was. So like overall, I think this came out really nicely. And now would be the, you know, pretty much the chance to embellish these. I think that like adding some trim to this like belly band would be just the thing. To, you know, like, this is like, now we're taking it one more layer up, right? So, you know, this is going to be like the paint that's on here already gives this kind of a nice tactile feel to it. Like, you can feel the texture of the paint on the ephemera. So it's like a, you got, you're both looking at it and feeling it. So that's like super nice. And the chalky paint feels like, it feels cool when you like, you know, put your hand on it. I'm just going to turn this here. I should have moved the other cards before I started this little process. But I love this little lace. This came, like, my little bundle of fabric was tied with this. I really like how this looks. It's just so, like, it's like the perfect little extra bit of embellishment on here. And I know I'm going very, like, I'm not going crazy colorful, you know, but I think that I can add little pieces to this tomorrow if I want to. If my spreads need color, like, they don't always need color. I love this like kind of neutral grungy aesthetic. It's just, it's one of my absolute favorites. Okay, so I'm gonna cut that there. And then if you wanted to, you could add, you know, more stamping or more washi tape or more of whatever it is to your project. You know, just if you don't feel like it has enough, but like, I kind of feel like these have enough, you know what I mean? Like, I could put a pocket on there, but that just seems like too much, you know? So it might have to be like something simple, you know, like, ooh, let's see. You know what this would look good on? Like one of these tags. Maybe this one. Like if I punched I put that on there. That could look good on there. Like that would, this is the kind of thing that would look good on that type of tag. I do have some, these are my other ones. I'm just going to keep those aside. But I have some, this is mummy cloth that I tea dyed. So that could definitely be a potential candidate here. I also should probably punch some holes in this, huh? This is just thread. This is a bonus. Yeah, because if I want to have like additional texture on these, I'm gonna add that there, and then I'll punch some holes in it. I totally forgot about punching holes in them. Let me see if I have any good. I really want some string. I don't know if I have any though. I can't wait to hear what you guys think about this tomorrow. I always I'm very interested to hear what your comments are, and I appreciate you guys leaving them, especially when you leave like nice detailed ones. Like, I appreciate hearing what you think, you know, what you think. It really helps me like understand, you know, how I can improve this, how can I make the explanation better, how can I like skew the projects or tailor the projects to what is helping you guys in your like actually making your journals, you know, because I want this to be transferable out of Junk Journal July, you know, like all the things that we're doing here, we could just build on these for our future journals. And I think it'll be fun. Like, I think we should continue to make masterboards. It's not something that I've done a whole lot of on my channel. A lot of times my videos are very tailored to a project. So like, we're making Index X, or we're making this, you know, Bramblewood Bloom's like tag book, you know. So I'm not used to having this level of freedom, which I really, really love. And I'm hoping to be able to incorporate it more into future projects so that it's not so prescribed on what we're doing. Okay, so now let's do also some alternative tops. Like if you don't want to punch a hole, say you don't have a hole punch. Well, do you have a stapler? If you have a stapler, then we can definitely use either a piece of fabric, a piece of book page, a piece of whatever you have on hand, a piece of washi tape even. Anything you have on hand can become a little tabby for your tag. Okay, so this guy's a little plainer, so we'll give him this. And it has like the mummy cloth on it with the thread. And we can even add in some extra thread. That's probably too much. So I'm just going to cut some of it off. Just underneath it to make it look extra messy. And you can just staple that on there, and then if you want, you can put a piece of ephemera over it. What would be great over top of this would be maybe a number or a word. So I'm not sure if I have any numbers or words. I have a butterfly. I have one of my neutral butterflies, but you know, you could put anything. Anything you could punch out, even like a round circle, like, and you could write a number on it. Nothing says it has to be like pre-printed or pre-ready to go. You can do whatever you like. The other thing is, oh, where is I'm not sure what I did with my, I had my envelope of stuff from my ephemera stuffed journal, and I don't know where I put it. If you have a hidden paper clip that's like just hanging around, that could go on there as well. I have this one here that's like just like a test one that I made. You know, you could use that for a topper. It's not glued because it was just a test one. But, you know, so it could be a lot of different things. Like I have these were left over from the manuscript journal, and they're just letters, but they would also make great tag tops as well. So they can be anything that you have or can dream up. It doesn't have to just be a hole. It doesn't have to be like a grommet, an eyelet. It's an eyelet, right? I think a grommet's when it's in something bigger. I have this piece right here. I mean, I do like these paper ones, but I like them to be kind of messy. So like definitely this would do with some thread in it. And then if you have any like, you know, like prepared ephemera, like ephemera that's purchased or whatever, you can always work that in here too if you want. Sometimes I get sucked into buying that stuff. Like, I don't know what happens. I think there's like a time of the night, like at 2 a.m. or whatever, that if I'm allowed to be on my phone shopping, that all bets are off. I'll get talked into something. Alright, I'm going to get one more thing for that. A piece of like this brown paper is always good to create a little bit of contrast if you need it. I would like this to be a little bit wider. Here we go. I want it to be wider than the tab that I have. These are my favorite kind of tag toppers. I can get really into the weeds with them though and mess with them forever. That's probably not needed on this. Okay, so there's these guys. So that's alternate, you know, tag tops, like whatever, you know, fabric you have on hand, or whatever ribbon or, you know, paper or even washi tape can be a tab. You know, you could use almost anything for that. And then you can take your pieces of like actual ephemera that you have for your kit, and you can use these to kind of customize what you have going on here, you know. And because it's all kind of vintagey, you know, a lot of my kits, like in particular, like have things in common, you know. So like they have a specific tone, and you know, so you can mix and match them a little bit, and you know, that lets you customize. So like if you want to be building your ephemera stash, you know, you can do it comfortably in a neutral tone, knowing that, you know, overall it'll look, you know, pretty when you add in the specific ephemera from the themed kit that you're working on. So there's that. I hope you guys found this helpful. I would be very interested to hear what you think in the comments. And if you guys have any thoughts or ideas for the future, you know, I definitely would love to hear those. I would like these videos to be as helpful as possible. So your feedback is always appreciated. And then tomorrow we're going to continue this with envelope, and we'll add pockets to our journal as well as some envelopes. I'll add this belly band in too, so maybe we could even do some tuck spots. So we'll be working more in the journal tomorrow for envelope, and we'll use all of the stuff that we made today and maybe even decorate it a little bit more, just depending on the colors of the pages. So thank you guys so much for joining me. Oh, please like the video. I think I forgot to say that. And subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you tomorrow for envelope.